G'day YouTube, it's Brett here from Overtime Gaming with you once again, and welcome back to some WWE 13. Now in this video we're going to have a chat about what happened on Raw on Monday, and we're going to have a chat about what Wrestlemainia is going on. Now obviously it's only a couple of weeks now until Wrestlemania, and a lot of the matches are already booked, and it's now lead up to Wrestlemania, in Raw that is. And last couple of weeks Raw's ratings have actually dropped, quite a bit to be fair. Because The Rock hasn't been there, I guess they're going back to what they normally will be. The Rock's done a few promotional things for his films, and he's actually insulted WWE because he hasn't had his title out there with him. So that's not helped WWE out either. But to me that's not really that big a deal, because we all know WrestleMania is still going to be huge, so that's not too bad. Obviously they've finished the induction into the Hall of Fame now, with Booker T going in on Monday night. I was extremely shocked by this. I definitely think he deserved to go in it. He's done so much for the business, not just actually in wrestling. He owns a wrestling school, he runs a wrestling company now, he helps train younger wrestlers, all that sort of thing. He's absolutely massive in wrestling, so he definitely deserves it. But I didn't see it coming, because I thought they were finished with the whole WWE Hall of Fame induction thing for this year, because obviously they already had Mick Foley, Bob Backlund, Donald Trump for celebrities, Bruno Sammartino and Trish Stratus. So to me that was already massive. I mean, they're huge superstars in their own right, so I definitely didn't think they were having another one, and I definitely think it's big. Especially I think this will definitely lead up to actually having a Hall of Fame, much like the Baseball Hall of Fame, actually having a building that is the Hall of Fame for wrestling. I definitely think that's going to go ahead now. So let's get on to the match that is going on in the background now. Obviously, if you haven't watched Raw, don't listen to me right now. I don't watch Raw too much. I watch it every now and then. I'm more of a Ring of Honor guy anyway, so I'm more of an indie sort of guy. But I do watch Raw every now and then, and I heard this fight was going on and it made me watch it. Much like when John Cena faced the CM Punk. Heard that fight was going on, so I watched that, and that was an amazing fight. Now, this match included 3 big superstars. Chris Jericho, arguably the biggest superstar wrestling has had in years, and has been for years. He is one of my favourite wrestlers ever. Him, CM Punk and Bret Hart are just my favourite wrestlers ever. I grew up loving Chris Jericho, Y2J, through WCW and WWE. I've read both his books. If you haven't read both his books, definitely go check them out. The first one's Lionheart, and the second one is How to Become a Champion in 23,000 Steps or something like that. They're both brilliant reads. The second one, How to Be a Champion, is more about his personal life and leads on from Lionheart, or Lion Tail, sorry. And it's definitely worth a read, and Lion Tail is just as good. It's absolutely brilliant. So definitely go check him out. It informs you about how the business was run and everything like that as well. And he's a huge superstar, and he's never had a problem with putting over younger guys. I mean, he was the one that actually discovered John Cena, and he's definitely never had a problem with putting over younger guys. So he's the sort of guy that can help build up someone like Wade Barrett, which is definitely why he was in this match. Now, the other person in the match was The Miz, who in his own right is a massive star. Lots of people say they don't like him, but he is a massive star. He's a brilliant wrestler. I think he is anyway. He's now a movie star, and in the last couple of years he was one of WWE's biggest faces. Not meaning faces in good guy, actually face of the company. So he's definitely a big guy. I mean, he main evented WrestleMania, which someone like CM Punk can't say they have done. So he is definitely a big talent. And again, that puts this match, I mean, The Miz versus Chris Jericho in its own right would be huge. That would be an absolutely massive fight. Adding Wade Barrett into that makes the fight slightly bigger. I mean, Wade Barrett's not that big a superstar at the moment, but giving him this Intercontinental title is making him that bigger superstar, and it will eventually lead to him winning the WWE Championship at some point. And putting him in this fight just gives him that credibility to him. Now, I know he won the match by rolling up The Miz, and it was a bit of a shock considering The Miz had just hit the skull-crushing finale on Y2J. So it was a bit of a shock, but he still beat 2 superstars. I mean, beating Chris Jericho on his own or beating The Miz on his own would be absolutely huge. But beating them in the same match just makes it a little bit more special. Because he can now say, I'm a superstar in my own right. I've beat two of the biggest superstars in recent years in one match. And that's massive. That is huge. And the match itself made all three look like superstars as well. I personally think Y2J carried them. But it did make all three of them look absolutely fantastic. Now, in this video, you'll see I have Chris Jericho win. That is because I wanted Chris Jericho to win, because he's one of my favourite wrestlers. I didn't think it was going to happen. I definitely thought either Wade Barrett or The Miz is going to win, setting up a feud for WrestleMania. Now, I don't know what type of feud Wade Barrett will go into at WrestleMania, but we now know what Chris Jericho is going to do. He's going to go into a feud with Fandango. If you haven't heard, there's been a leak story to do with the SmackDown taping that Fandango again interrupts Chris Jericho when his Titantron comes on. No, I think this is a bit stupid. Fandango's not going to be anything special. I'm already sick of his gimmick, and he just doesn't look that special. He was nothing special in NXT, well, FCW. And I know they have a habit of making Chris Jericho put over younger guys at WrestleMania and stuff like that. I mean, they made him do it with CM Punk, which was a valid reason. They wanted to make CM Punk huge. So I'm completely fine with that. But Fandango's not going to be anything. And if you make Chris Jericho lose to him when Fandango hasn't even had a match yet, it will just be absolutely stupid. I think Chris Jericho deserves one more, at least, WrestleMania moment where he wins at WrestleMania. He's carried the company for years. He's done everything for the company. So he definitely deserves a win. I don't think he will. I think they'll make Fandango win, which will be stupid. Now, we're moving on from that anyway. Don't know what's going on with The Miz and Wade Barrett now. Whether they'll continue their feud up to WrestleMania or not. Not really sure. The other big feud that's going on is CM Punk The Undertaker, obviously. Obviously, last week, CM Punk interrupted Undertaker's memorial thing for Paul Bearer, and respect to Paul Bearer, rest in peace. He was an absolute legend, and he definitely made The Undertaker's career. Without him, The Undertaker would not be as big as he is now. So he definitely deserved every bit of respect he got during the night, and God bless him. Now, CM Punk obviously interrupted it and then stole The Undertaker's urn, which I think is very disrespectful, and I don't think the WWE should have made him do that, because it now puts CM Punk again across as this arrogant bastard, in all honesty, which is wrong. I know he is arrogant, not saying anything there, he is in real life, but they're taking it a step too far, and they've built him up lately as this wimp who runs away from everything, and this is just going to add to it. I hate to say it, it just will. And I want CM Punk to beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. I want him to beat his streak. I don't think it will happen because of Mr. McMahon and Triple H's relationship with CM Punk. I definitely don't think it will happen. I want it to, because CM Punk definitely deserves it. He's carried the company for a long time and hasn't been given that chance to headline anything. And he's not been given it again at this WrestleMania, even though he carried the company for over a year with the title on his back. And all of a sudden The Rock comes back and it screws everything up. And John Cena gets given a shot, which I don't mind. John Cena works his butt off for the company, in all honesty. I know there's a lot of John Cena haters out there. I'm not one of them. I quite like John Cena. He puts the work in, day out. Nothing wrong with him, in all honesty. I don't care if he gets title shot after title shot. He deserves it. I don't love John Cena. I'm not saying that at all. I don't think his wrestling's great. I think he's a good wrestler. Don't think he gets as much credit as he should, but he's not great. But he doesn't deserve a lot of the stick he gets either. But obviously I want CM Punk to win. It's not going to happen. I want him to win. If you want my full opinion on it, go check out my last WWE video, which actually has what I think is going to happen at WrestleMania. The other match booked already is Triple H versus Brock Lesnar. I could not care less about this match. I never liked Brock Lesnar when he was a young guy and he was actually really big. I never liked Triple H at all, ever. So I just think it's a completely stupid and pointless match. It's just another way to sell things. And I already know the result. Triple H will win. Obviously he's going to do that. He's lost to Brock Lesnar already. He's had his arm broken by him twice. Now Vince had his hip broken by him. So of course it's for revenge. So Triple H is definitely going to win. I just think it's stupid and we're moving on swiftly from that. I'm sorry if you do like it, but I could not care less. I think it's another waste of space on a pay-per-view card where you could be building up a younger guy. Now, the other one is Ryback versus Mark Henry. Now, Mark Henry, I've never really been a big fan of. He's been around for a long time now, but I've never really been a big fan. All of a sudden, he's come back and he has been built as this monster, this beast. And it actually kind of suits him. They've actually booked him the right way. I wish he had won the Elimination Chamber instead of Jack Swagger because he's a waste of space. But I actually quite like this booking, and putting him up against Ryback either gives Ryback a WrestleMania win, which will help build Ryback again and put him as this beast, which he's kind of been let down from lately because of his losses and everything like that, and not having a WWE title. Or it gives Mark Henry a win, and it allows you to continue that beast role because he's beat Ryback. I think it's a very good idea, and I quite like it. I wish they had built it up a bit more rather than them just challenging each other, but I'm fine with it. Now, the main thing I want to speak about is the Shield. Now, obviously the Shield's been built really, really well lately, and they keep building them up as this dominant team, and I really like it. Finally, the WWE's building something right. And I really, really like it because I like all three guys. Roman Reigns isn't the greatest, but I like him, especially in this unit. I wish they would add one or two more guys because I think it would add a bit more legitimacy to the group. And it allows you to believe that they can be dominant a lot more. And that's because, let's think about it in real life. If you get attacked by 3 people, you think you could stand a chance against them, in all honesty. Because if you get help from another guy, it's all of a sudden 3 on 2 and you reckon you can handle that. Whereas if you get attacked by 4 or 5, it suddenly turns into a gang attack. And you don't think you have a chance because if somebody else helps you, all of a sudden it's still 4 on 2 or 5 on 2. So there's still 2 guys on each person. And it adds that bit more terrifying factor to them. And they definitely need that. I mean, I'm so glad they've beat the likes of John Cena, Sheamus, Ryback, Randy Orton and all of that. And there's obviously going to be another fight with Sheamus and Randy Orton involved at WrestleMania. And now probably the Big Show too. I think it is the Big Show actually. So I think they should make the Shield win that. Because it would again add a little bit more legitimacy to them. And it would make them look that dominant force. I don't think they will win. I want them to win, but I don't think they will win. I think they can't afford to let people like Ryback and Randy Orton, Sheamus and Big Show lose at WrestleMania. I want them to lose, but I don't think they can afford to do it. Well, they will see it as they can't afford to do it. But I want them to win. What I do wish they would do more was put them more forward as singles wrestlers as well. I mean, they had a match against the Big Show. Obviously last week on SmackDown, I think it was. Oh, it could have been Raw. And of course the fight never really happened. It just turned into a brawl between them. And it just makes it look like they can't carry themselves on their own. And that's the little bit that I don't like. Whereas you think of back at the NWO, they could always handle themselves in a one-on-one fight. And they definitely need to do that more. I mean, Seth Rollins is absolutely amazing. He's one of the biggest guys and best wrestlers ever. I mean, if you've never seen him in Ring of Honor, definitely go check him out. And Dean Ambrose is just as good. So I think they need to be pushed a bit more. Now, the other thing is Dolph Ziggler. Obviously, Dolph Ziggler's been pushed back a bit lately, and I don't like it. They spent all this time building him up so he could cash in his Money in the Bank. He still hasn't done that. Building him up so it looked like he could win. He had wins over John Cena and stuff like that. And it looked like he could win the world title, and all of a sudden he's dropped off and he is losing to everyone, like Jack Swagger, all that sort of stuff. And I definitely think they need to get away from that, because he needs to start winning if he's going to cash in his Money in the Bank. And obviously him and Big E now face Team Hell No at WrestleMania, and I definitely think they need to win this. And I think they will win the world titles off them. So hopefully that will happen, guys. And we'll have another video out after Raw on Monday, so probably around Tuesday, of WWE, and I'll speak a bit more about my thoughts on everything. So I hope you've all enjoyed the video, guys. Definitely leave a like and comment, and hopefully subscribe and share this video too, guys. And peace out, YouTube. We're heading into overtime.